The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and sponsored by international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of Missing. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 40 podcast platforms, as well as hamiltonradio.net, Diamonds FM, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We can be heard in over 100 countries, featuring over 1,000 well-known and amazing guests throughout the globe. And named one of the top 100 global podcasts in the New York Weekly Times, Hollywood Entertainment News, Los Angeles Weekly Times, Apple, and Chartable. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great episode of the award-winning Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific multi-talented musician born in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He began his career at 3 on the chordorgan and became a member of CVTOS, or the Connecticut Valley Theater Organ Society, and he began studying at 5 with verellimusicstudios and won numerous awards in music. And he also worked in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut in a number of radio stations and streaming platforms. Also performed with the Tower of Power, Syprogyra, Chicago, and more. And he also had some Christmas music out there with Christmas Magic, Mr. Christmas, and a Connecticut Christmas. And he's also got some really good material out there called Songs from the Great American Songbook, and we'll be getting an update and more about the songbook live, ladies and gentlemen, from Plus Studios outside Hartford, Connecticut. The multi-talented musician born in Bridgeport, Connecticut, a veteran of 20-some years, 25 and counting, working a number of radio stations, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and more, and performed with a number of musicians. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Great American Songbook, the multi-talented James A. Norkawich. James, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on board, James. So you're a multi-talented musician born in Bridgeport, Connecticut. You began a career at 5 on the chordorgan and also a member of the Connecticut Valley Theater Organ Society. And you began studying at 5 at verellimusicstudios, won a number of awards, and also you worked in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania in radio and a number of streaming platforms. You performed with the Tower of Power, Syprogyra, and Chicago. And you've got yesterday Songs from the Great American Songbook. You did some Christmas Magic, Mr. Christmas, and more. And we'll get an update about the Great American Songbook. And before going on that, James, tell us how you first got started.
Well, got started again at the age of 3. I just one of those things. My grandfather played by ear, and I just was drawn to, as a kid, just this is what I wanted to do. And so after banging around on the organ, and my grandfather had like 13 organs in his home, and
Wow.
For someone who plays by ear, that's kind of a treat. So Hammonds, Cons, you name it. And so then, my parents, like any parent, like, do you want to take lessons? So started taking lessons and went from organ to piano to organ. And then I probably stayed with the organ until I got to high school. Long story short, got in a program in the arts. Kind of was like a famed school for the arts, but it was called Regional Center for the Arts.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in high school. So as part of your high school day, you would go to the University of Bridgeport, learn jazz theory, jazz history, jazz composition, and also earn college credits while being in high school. So basically, I was going to school from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night.
Wow.
But it really did help me get into school. I got in, I know it sounds kind of cocky, but I got into everywhere where I applied, but where you get the best offer and the best money. Back 20, 30 years ago, I ended up going to the University of Bridgeport to get my undergrad, my grad, and then once you get out and get into the real world, you just really try to, get a grasp of everything and go out there and do as much as you can.
That is a good point indeed. And I think that's what some young people need to do is like get out there as much as you can. And what was it one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
Say that again.
What was that one precise moment for you that simply influenced you into your what you do for the rest of your career? In other words, what was that moment that said, this is it? The precise moment.
One precise moment probably was took place at the CVTOS studios in Stamford, Connecticut. I mean, that was when we're getting called to be a studio musician, and and you play your part, and you play and start laying your collective talent, on someone's project, and that was with Tower of Power. At that particular time, of course, I knew who Tower of Power was, but I did not know the gentleman that I was surrounded around with was actually Tower of Power. So, Mike, you gotta understand, it's one of those things that it's that sobering and humble moment when they're like, we need a track on here, and I'm going, okay, putting chord changes together and writing that and putting them around words that somebody else put together, and then maybe about 3 or 4 years later, I hear it on a smooth jazz station that I actually happen to be working for in New York City. I'm going, why does this really sound familiar? And then I'm looking and I'm going, oh, damn, well, what are you supposed to do? But you live and learn. And every experience, learning off one person, learning off this person, learning off this group, wedding bands, you name it, I've done it, and I'm still doing it, but taking it to the next higher level. Again, after 2020, the game has changed, and there were a lot of things that you have really had to adapt to, and change can be. I don't think anybody likes change, really.
Right, unless you ask the Gen Z crowd or the millennials and such, they'll probably give you a different answer.
Oh, totally. I mean, COVID changed the game. I lost my dad in 2021, so that was another game changer. So I was like, I have all this material, and I've had everything, piling up for the last, say, 10 years. And, with distribution and this and that and social media, the thing was, how do I get it out there? How do I get what I have to say? And what I've been not holding back, but I've been holding it in this little thing called a hard drive. How can I get it out there, and how can I show the world what I want to say, and how do I want to distribute it?
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. And don't mind me asking, do you remember what song that you laid the organ on for Tower of Power? It makes me think I need to go to that. I need to go to Spotify or go to Pandora, look it up on YouTube, and find that particular track.
Yes, it was called "If You Can't Go Up, If You Can't Fall Up, You Can't Fall Down."
Okay, can't fall down. It can't get up. Okay, it's somewhere along those lines. Let me just write this down here.
It was, and just like with Chicago, my particular professor in high school was also a professor at the University of Bridgeport, and he called us for an impromptu gig and said, well, the bus broke down. We're playing at a local park, and can you show up, and can you bring a drummer with you? Okay. So, it's like one of those things like, well, let's see what happens. So pull into the park, there's got to be about maybe 500-600 people. Now, if there's 4 keyboards to the left, there's 4 keyboards to the right, and there's 5 keyboards in front of me. I'm surrounded by keyboards. So this must be some type of band that I would know, right? It wasn't until I looked at the drum head that I began to panic profusely. And there's the logo. There's Chicago. And not all the members of the band are there because, some were on a plane headed to the gig. Some were doing this. But, man, that was a lot of fun because when you listen and grow up and you internalize a song or songs in general. And then you have the opportunity to play it with the creators.
Mm-hmm.
That speechless is the word, but humbled is, you're humbled until after the gig where you're like, did you realize who we just played for, or played with?
Oh, I think that'll just take anybody down. Not just Tower of Power, not just Chicago, but syprogyra you also worked with as well, too.
Oh my God. I mean, syprogyra was directly out of college. And I mean, of course, first hooking up with Dave Samuels, then Jay Beckenstein, and the rest of the guys. It was a Northeast, leg of their tour. But most of these guys, with the exception of Jay, at that time were kind of based in the Northeast. So learning the chops and this, I got to tell this story real quick, Mike. So when in '89, which feels like an eon ago, my cousin I went over his house. He pulled out syprogyra's Free Time album. And at that particular point in time, he goes, take a listen to this album. It's going to save your life. Here I am, a 15-year-old kid. I'm like, what do you mean this is going to save my life? Well, he was giving me in terms of keyboard, and because he's a musician himself, in terms of chops, in terms of style, in terms of dynamics and things like that. Little did I ever imagine that, was it 8 years later, that I'd be playing with the same guys on the album that I literally wore this poor tape into Bedlam. So,
oh, I wish I did that to my tape somewhat. I have to keep them going. Oh my gosh. Boy, making me go back to those days. So it's like tape players go over and over and over again. Small got contest, but I think yours pretty much took the cake.
and that's why I still say anybody who's just picking up an instrument now, or if you can, buy vinyl. I mean, you hear the musicianship, you hear what the instruments and what these men and women are trying to do. It's not the reprocessed garbage that's being put out today. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Real music, real covers, real artwork, people that took time to actually put their craft. There was a podcast that I had done, and the gentleman following after me was the one who designed the Rolling Stones logo.
Oh, let me guess. That was Ruby Mazer.
Yes.
He was on my show a while back. What
You're
a story.
kidding.
What a story. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And he regretted the day that, he didn't get to really cash in the opportunity. That was so iconic. I'll tell you. I'm like, no wonder I should have wore a Rolling Stone shirt. And I had one like I saw in 1988 up in Alpine Valley. Like, oh my goodness.
Mike, that's the thing. I mean, all the Tower of Powers, all of Chicago's albums. Oh my God. All of any artist, really. I mean, just take Sinatra's catalog, right? Every single album, there's real photography, there's real art. There's none of this, we'll just do a nice, 3,000 by 3,000 little pixel.
Oh yeah, or like the Snapchat, Instagram, or you get from Etsy or whatever it is, or buy like say from what's that one company, Getty Images or something.
Yeah. I mean, I one thing. I mean, look, you've got to play with the card that you're given, right? Mm-hmm. So, I know when I'm uploading artwork, it's got to have something. It's got to have meaning to me. Now there's AI, there's this. Pretty soon, I could just take what's in my head and put it in 40 words, and out pops an album, and hopefully we sell more than Taylor Swift does.
I think
But
that's gonna be the biggest challenge right now on who can outsell Taylor Swift. You got some albums yourself like Christmas Magic, Mr. Christmas, A Connecticut Christmas, Yesterday's Songs from the Great American Songbook. And can he top Taylor Swift those with James Norkawich? We'll find out in 1 minute. But first, you listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. In Eve 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com or 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the multi-talented musician born in Bridgeport, Connecticut, now living outside of Hartford, James A. Norkawich, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And you talked about who's going to outsell Taylor Swift. Well, you got some albums out there yourself that have the potential and possibility. Christmas Magic, Mr. Christmas, A Connecticut Christmas. You also got songs from the Great American Songbook, including Yesterday, Volumes 1 and 2, and a possible 3. And tell us more about those albums.
yeah, I mean, but and so in 2022, after releasing a single, so we had that whole thing that happened in Ukraine, and put a video together, and I figured let me put an instrumental to it. Well, the video went well, but my collective whatever did not work. So it's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm just playing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is gonna work. Threw it up on Twitter, and about maybe 6 hours later, a vocalist from the UK, who's the #1 selling classical crossover vocalist on iTunes, said, "Can I put my embellishment on it?" Boom, the rest is history.
I like that.
Hit TV, hit everything, and we were able to work with One World Central Kitchen to raise money for the Ukraine effort. However, so it goes, okay, what do we do after that? Well, I wanted to take all the stuff that I grew up with. And Yesterday is all the big band, songs of Yesterday. My Funny Valentine, My Foolish Heart, songs, jazz songs, songs that were written by real composers and recorded by many, many, many artists from there on. And pretty much doing after that, that launched and that went very well. So it only made sense to encapsulate the songs, from 1950 to 1980 or 1990 that are our songs of our generation. And so that's called Today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in 2024, working on what's going to be considered Tomorrow. Now, I don't plan on covering any songs from 2000 on, but these are songs that are part of our inner core, songs that I would say that we can pass on to our children, our grandchildren, songs that we can share with our family or that we currently do share with our family.
Mm-hmm.
whether holidays, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, weddings, songs that have become a staple in our lives. And that's what's going to be become part of tomorrow. And I don't have a date on releasing that. Hopefully by June is the goal. But make sure you stay tuned to my socials and all that other good stuff, because knowing me, maybe I'll get it done before Easter. But right now the focus has been to get back into the roots of where I follow, because the last time we spoke, Christmas Magic was nothing less than magic. Had over 8 million streams in 150 countries.
Wow.
Which
150. I think you pretty much topped mine. It was like over 100 countries. You're putting me to a challenge right there, James. You're challenging me.
Listen, I mean, people. So Instagram is a great way to express, and Twitter a great way to visually show people and tell people this. Hey, this is me, and this is what I want you to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when people take your music and put it to commercials, events, moments in their life, I mean, we're talking 2,000-3,000 times around the world in countries that I didn't even know existed, is far beyond me. And I'm sitting there, I'm going like this. I'm like, well, it's there, it's there, it's there,
Mm-hmm.
it's there. And yeah, I mean, Christmas time was very, very generous. But you're only as good as the last thing that you did,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much more to say. There's so much more original stuff that's slated to come out there. I honestly I just don't know what to put out there first. So tomorrow is like literally right there. The latest one was a tribute to my dad. People get ready. Of course, the version that I know, not the Curtis Mayfield version, but the Chambers Brother version.
Yes, Chambers Brothers. Just gonna say that, and I think Rod Stewart did a remake of that, and I think there might have been a few more. As you're right, it was the Chambers Brothers, Curtis Mayfield, Rod Stewart, and I think there may have been like quite a few which either doesn't come to our top of our heads or we're not even aware of.
Yeah, I mean, when the version with Rod Stewart, I think, was with Jeff Beck, and we lost Jeff Beck, what, about a year, 2 years ago? So
Yeah, and I remember him from the 60s, and one of the influences, like, lead guitar and rock and classic, everything like that. I think that was like considered that was heavy metal back then. Now it's like album rock, AOR. Now it's just classic rock. I remember that, and I think it just started a whole chain of guitarists following as well.
I mean, this is the music, which I like I said before, is the soundtrack of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in a processed world that we live in, where we're all too busy, we don't have the time, we have to make plans for our plans. Perfect case is when a nice snowy day like the one we're going to get tomorrow, hopefully, that's when you sit back, and you just kick back, throw in a pair of cans, turn the stereo up, and just listen. Again, I had a professor in high school and college that said to me, if you never pick up your instrument, keep listening, because your mind and your body and everything else will develop. And then when you go back to your instrument, that's actually secondary. Keeping your mind fresh, keeping your mind healthy, and absorbing these sounds and these riffs and these changes and these melodic patterns left and right. That's what's going to make you create something and separate someone who's, they may be in the corner woodshedding their instrument and doing Eddie Van Halen licks, which is great. But what's the difference between, someone today and a Paul McCartney, Paul
Mhm.
McCartney's getting into the changes. He's getting into the music. He's analyzing the analyzation of the music that he just analyzed. Yeah, if that
Mhm.
makes any sense.
Or it's just like, he's trying to recreate himself of himself, of himself, of himself, and
Exactly.
people copied off of him, other copies. So he's trying to, like, redevelop, 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 just like the whole time the Beatles did. They pretty much involved from, like, the boy mop top band. All the girls screamed, and then they went to I think, what was it, psychedelic, and then it became art rock and everything else. They found ways to change and change and change and change, and that's what made them successful. And I just know some other artists that changed from, like, just headbanging rock to what was it, theater rock, and I think there was oh, what was it, progressive, like a King Crimson, Genesis, yes, and all that. Some
Oh my
were like
God.
really into metal, and they started evolving to, like, this progressive, songs like 10, 20 minutes long, and which is like tedious to today's kids, but to us it's like they're just timeless classics, like a Pink Floyd, like this.
You, you know, I'm not one of those people to name drop someone that I particularly like, but and I, I'm more concerned on putting all my own stuff together. But there's one group on YouTube, and they're called Halocene
Hmm.
or Halocene, and the musicianship. And I mean, they take rock and they throw it in the metal. They take classic rock. They take pop songs from the 80s and 90s. They took a version of Journey's "Don't Stop Believing." It's amazing, and it sounds better than the actual version itself.
And what's the name of that group again?
Hey, it's Halocene.
Halo Scene.
Halocene.
Okay.
And if you go on YouTube, there's two or three groups that actually and I am not a sponsor for them in any shape, form, matter, but I would love to get in touch with them to do some kind of collaboration, because that's what it's about. It's bringing the music alive again. It's taking a song like September by Earth, Wind and Fire, or Lonesome Loser,
Hmm.
or a song by Michael McDonald. I
or
mean,
or or Bob Seger, he would appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan. If the house
Oh
is
my
rocking, don't
gosh,
come around.
yeah. I wish Stevie Ray Vaughan was still alive, and I wish I was saw him at Alpine Valley, but I opted to go to a Papa Creek concert, and then when I heard the news, the plane crashed, I thought Eric Clapton was killed, but Stevie Ray Vaughan, oh, I was in tears. I was just getting ready to buy some tickets. Oh my God. Every time I hear Stevie Ray Vaughan, it's like, I wish I would have went.
And you know what, Mike? Here's an artist that I always come back to his stuff. Jeff Healey,
Mhm.
uh, blind guitarist, had these amazing chops, these amazing licks. The band had a couple hits. Of course, he was in Roadhouse, but this is having this discussion, as two people who love music, and as a musician, and as also being in radio, you maybe I absorb things more than other people,
Mhm.
but when you're in your car, everybody shakes their head to something. Life would be really dull if we didn't have something to gauge it by musically. And I mean, listen, art and fitness and all these things, they're important. Don't get me wrong. But music is something that is ingrained in us. And even somebody who has no talent whatsoever can still pick 10 songs that they can actually tap their feet to.
Mhm.
And, that's what it's all about. It's telling a story. It's telling our story. It's relating to something. Um, if I can just have one person say, hey, I really, really liked what you did. To me, that's the most important thing, you know, to have 8 million people like what you did. I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah. That's that's the ultimate, pat on the back. But really what it comes down to is even when you're playing live, just for one person to say, I really, really like what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
And, because it does matter to us because, we're out there like everybody else, whether it's try to make a living or it's trying to tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully my catalog and everything that I've done, people will be able to, have resonate with that and understand where my adaptations come from, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes, it does. And I think everybody's getting adaptation. Sometimes I have songs that just run through my head and you wish you could put it on paper, but sometimes that's difficult. And I can also think of a few groups that just, that just get into my head, but then you could also tie into others as well too. And some of the ones like King Crimson, just getting that deep thinking,
oh,
or you get like in a heavy metal like the artistic one like Queensryche and I think Dream Theater from your local area. That's a huge one right there, Dream Theater, and I admire them so much. And then at Sabotage, which half of the groups spawned into the Trans-Siberian Orchestra or a TSO, and I heard that
yeah.
story. I went amazing.
And then what's even crazy is that I think 2024 is the year of the rebrand. So I like didn't do this specifically, but I mean like bands like Creed, they were playing under a total different surname, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least here in Connecticut. And the funny part is that their Christian music infused with metal, with rock. And now, like I said, music should be colorless, ageless,
Right.
timeless. But we've gotten so one-dimensional.
Yeah, specialized, divided, stereotyped, and whatever else. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many people who are just producing things now, Mike, that are, you listen to it and you go, what is this trying to say? Or is
Mm-hmm.
it just or is it just a bunch of empty nothings,
Mm-hmm.
And
Or it's like ear candy too, eye candy. I see a lot of that in the videos. It's like, too much eye candy, too much ear candy, and what's really a message? Hardly anything.
yeah. And as we were talking before, I mean, today is the 100th anniversary of Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin.
That's amazing.
And that is for a song to still have to resonate 100 years later and it be an American jazz composition is unheard of
Mm-hmm.
because we usually you know we usually look at classical composers as having that staying power, Bach, Beethoven, Rachmaninoff,
Mm-hmm.
George
Right.
Gershwin,
Mm-hmm. And also
Gershwin, Porter.
and also Mozart as well too. If Mozart were alive, he would outsell Metallica, Van Halen, AC/DC, and
Oh,
Motley
sure.
Crue all together. It's like he would just sell out every concert hall, throughout the world and smash attendance records over those guys.
I mean, that's and that's what makes us, I guess, you know, it's amazing. Different people from different parts of the world. I see people from the UK are way more advanced in terms of, not only pop music but even American jazz than we are, or just any form of music. Australia, Canada, we get. I think our thing is, chalked into sports. And don't get me wrong, I love my sports, but you know, how can we define ourselves as a country? How can we heal ourselves as a country? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's it. That was on Netflix. It's the 30th anniversary of We Are the World.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. And I think I had that record that was given to me I think as a gift a while back, and of course he had Band-Aid, Feed the World, and everything. That started a whole movement of get
Yeah.
everybody together to raise money and everything else. And I particularly do remember that. And of course, with your music, you're trying to smash Taylor Swift's record. And can this guy break the record of Taylor Swift? Sooner or later, we'll find out just 1 minute. And how did I help out? You're listening to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Missing. We'll be back with the multi-talented James A. Norkawich after this time.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with a multi-talented musician and also a DJ extraordinaire and a musician more, James A. Norkawich here on the Mike Wagner Show. And where can we find all your music like Christmas Magic, Mr. Christmas, Connecticut Christmas, and songs from the Great American Songbook, volumes 1, 2, and more, and your other music? Where can we find all that?
Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, iTunes, iHeart, Pandora, Tidal, and anybody else in the middle that, distributor decides to throw in their last minute, pretty much you can Google or just go to my website, www.jamesanorkawich.com. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so. I'm sure a new platform is going to pop up sooner or later.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much just Google me and I'm very interactive. Anybody reaches out on my website, drops a note, sends an email. It's great to hear. Or oh yeah, of course Twitter. Be sure to friend me because that's where you find the updates. You find everything else, what's going on, and I'd like to be a part of the musical community. Here in my home and my studio and in my life and. Music is for all of us to share. And, if we don't share it, and we don't tell our story and we don't pass it along to others, it's going to get really, really boring. Or
it's like, if someone's not going to tell it, who will, or someone else will.
Yeah. And if someone tells it, listen, everybody is entitled to interpret things their own way, but, my own personal opinion, music is going nowhere right now. And someone said rock is dead. And, maybe a year or so ago, I would have agreed with them. But I'm seeing that rock is actually coming back and real pop music. And people are actually soul searching and getting into a good headspace where they're saying, we got to get back to the stuff that makes us feel good.
Mm-hmm. And certainly did as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
In my career?
Yes.
Definitely David Foster. Again, he wrote for Chicago. He wrote for Earth, Wind and Fire, Whitney Houston, and as an instrumentalist. I gotta say, the Gershwins, the Porters, even Sinatra. Even down to Sinatra, even as corny and crazy as this is going to sound, growing up, Barry Manilow's, the Kenny Rogers, the Lionel Richies, they all had this collective musical artistry that just, was infectious to the rest of the world. And what they did for pop music, what they did for jazz, what they did for R&B, everything. I mean, Quincy Jones. You can't mention jazz and pop and rock and everything else without mentioning him. So, I'm a musical sponge. I soak it all in, and now the thing is internalize it, spit it out there, and make it your own.
And that's very good. Great case as well too. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Best advice is, if you're, again, always listen. Look, you can go to your local thrift store, and vinyl right now, you can you wouldn't believe what you find. Albums that people have thrown away. Maybe they've given up on the group, maybe they've given up on the band, or they've given up on the technology. Thing is to keep listening. The thing is to always, if you're picking up your instrument for the first time, don't get discouraged. You gotta just set a goal, set a realistic goal. Take time. If you don't like the teacher that's teaching you, then maybe it's time to switch gears. Maybe it's time to sometimes just go veer off into the distance and find out what makes you who you are, and then throw that back into your music. And you might be surprised. You might find.
Certainly indeed as well, too. We'll give it a shot. Once again, with the multi-talented James A. Norkawich of Songs from the Great American Songbook and more here on the Mike Wagner Show. James, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back, especially for Christmas time. Again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
Again, www.jamesanorkawich.com. Again, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, Deezer, Tidal, iHeart, iTunes. I should know these because I have to hashtag them every time. Basically, anywhere you get your streaming music, you can stream, but also to physically download, have it on your PC, put it in your playlist. And then usually off my website, jamesanorkawich.com. Pretty soon, within the next couple of months, we're putting a virtual shop in there, so you'll actually be able to get a hardcore copy on any particular form of media, whether you be USB, vinyl, or direct download. So this way, you're equipped, you're set, and then if you're on streaming media and you're putting your own videos or whatnot, just type in my name, and you can take one of the songs that I've done and put it to your event, or to your whatever video that you're going to put out there into the world. I can be part of what you're going to do.
And certainly great indeed as well. We'll certainly do that. Once again, James, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all best. And James, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you very much.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show. Brought to you by international award-winning author Mia Mohsen-Zia of Missing. And powered by Sonic Web Studios. Be sure to join us again on over 40 podcast platforms. And of course on the MikeWagnerShow.com, HamiltonRadio.net, and Diamonds FM. Don't forget to support our program with a generous donation at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Thanks for listening.